There is a very interesting thing that I would like to discuss, that is about influencing the outcome. And this matters for everybody, whether as a teacher you want to influence the outcome to the students, whether to the student, to their peer community, and to other associates. So, everybody, there is a linkage. And that's where we are going to establish this linkage in terms of how we influence the outcome. Now, if we take an example of an investor who would like to invest in some idea of a startup. Now, the question which comes is why an investor would like to invest? What can be the reason? If you dig deep, there are two major reasons. And both these two reasons, they relate to one word, that is excitement. Excitement about what? Excitement about a business. And the second thing is excitement about the person. So you will find in many investors, an entrepreneur or a startup meeting, the deals are decided maybe within a few time, or in some cases investors meet entrepreneurs. There are a lot of negotiations, there are a lot of meetings, but nothing is in progress. The recipe for success here is, if the entrepreneur is able to create an excitement in the mind of an investor that this is a business where is going to be leveraged. And that is the reason, if you see into the valuations of some of the companies, and there are famous companies which make these valuations. They make a valuation, for example, for a pharma company, 80 crore. But in reality, that pharma company is sold more than 80 crore. Why? Because the person who is investing into that pharma company finds a possible reason of not only about the value in terms of the 80 crore, but he finds the excitement in terms of the business and excitement with the persons with whom he would like to work. And that is the reason that in some organizations you will find that when a boss resigns, the subordinates who are reporting to that boss also leaves with this boss. It also happens that when a key account manager moves from one company to another company, he is likely to take those accounts with which he is close. That indicates that the business is not only decided on the rational decisions, but there is an emotive reason behind it. And if you dig deeper, and if you look into, if you observe around, you will find that there are the products which are selling around the emotive component. For example, fragrance, just a small bottle, but that small bottle, if you look into the functional value of that fragrance, you put a fragrance, by the evening it's not there. But still, the people who are purchasing that fragrance, they feel that it's going to make an impact. So that is where the emotive component. Second thing which I would like to bring to your notice is where the mistakes are made. I'm just giving an example with which we all can relate. Suppose there is a pre-placement talk by a company to the students. Generally, what the talk will indicate? The presentations. The presentations will be that there is a company which started on this year. This is the market capitalization. This is the sales turnover. These are the strength. These are the capabilities. Then they will show the map. If it is a FMCG company, then they will show the map indicating that these FMCG products are available in so many outlets, right? Now, if you think, if you are a student and you are sitting in that pre-placement talk, the student is interested what is there for me, what is in store for me, and if a company can able to do that, then it can create an excitement. And that's where we are talking about internal branding or employee branding. And that employee branding should start right from the beginning, not at a time when the employee joins, but much before. As a student, you have to create that aspiration. So that is where how the influencing outcome, through the aspirations play a role. This is just a kind of a comparison or just an example showing that. So here, as an example which I showed about, which we discussed about the pre-placement talk, the same thing can also be, maybe there can be a company and there must be some alumni from that institute possibly working in that company. So if he's a very enterprising HR manager, and which in today's world they should be, what he can do is he can talk about the person who has joined the company and how the company and the person has worked together, how the company has been benefited, and how the student could find a career direction from that company. And maybe when they come for a pre-placement talk, they can showcase the video of that student, the ex-student, who is with the company and is presently working in their organization, and showing about his experience. This can excite his juniors because he is alumni of that institute. And the students who are sitting around, they will definitely find out, or this can create an impact to the students who are likely to join. So this is where we need to change a strategy, and that is how these strategies will play a very important role in terms of influencing the outcome. Second thing which I would like to cover about the data. Sometimes we are so immersed in the data that it's like, in Hindi we can call it kichad, right? A mud. So we are so deep into the mud, and more you go deep into the mud, it is so difficult for you to come out. So it's just, and I'm just creating an analogy. So if you go deep into the data, so data has to speak. Today there is a new kind of terminologies which are coming, that is data visualization. Now think for a while that you are part of a bank where there is one incident has occurred, that your bank had an ATM at an airport, and some scamster, they maneuvered the system, and so many ATM cards got compromised, and it has come to the notice of the bank that around 18,000 customers, their prediction is that 18,000 customers are likely to be affected. Now every quarter, you're say in charge of a security. Every quarter you are taking it to your, to your CTO or the bank officials that it is important to maintain the security. But even if you talk today, maybe 18,000, maybe if it's a big bank like State Bank of India, they may have millions of customers. And 18,000 out of that million, I mean, that may not make an impact to make and to have ring fencing your data systems, and you are convinced that it's very important. So when you intend to influence the outcome, it is very important that the person behind it, should be convinced that yes, this is very important, and it should be into his, not only the presentations, in the mode of presentations in his mind, but in his heart. It should go deep into his heart. So the same thing can be brought, that there is a person who is working, and maybe he has a children, and his children are married, and he has around 10 lakhs rupees left in his account. He is one of that 18,000 persons whose accounts is likely to be compromised. So from his perspective, you can say that 10 lakhs means his whole life's sweat and the effort. That is what he has put, that is what is likely to evaporate within by this kind of act by the scamsters. And banks should be very vigilant so that this should not happen in future, right? So somebody who is behind the data, if you can bring along this story, that we are talking about the trust, bank is about the trust, and if this trust is compromised, and if this trust is compromised for such a person, what kind of impact it will have maybe in the society. So that's the thing. Second thing, this is, I talked about, the from the perspective of preventing the negative points, or having a systems which will guard against these kind of activities. Next, as a salesperson, you are also looking into the opportunities, and when you look into the opportunities, you come across the numbers, but it is very important that your number should speak. You should be able to communicate that numbers, to your higher ups, to your superiors, or to the stakeholders. And how can you do that? Suppose, just take for an example, that you are behind a development of a software, and that software is going to be applied in railways. So then you find out the data, and you find that there are around 2 or 3 crore people who are traveling through railways on a weekly basis, right? Now this number, if you want to project it, if you want others to visualize it, it is very important. Any number makes sense when it is compared, right? So one way of comparison, that 7.5 crore people traveling can be equivalent of a population of one country, maybe a New Zealand, right? Maybe New Zealand may be having a much lesser population than this 7.5 crore. So you can say that it is 4 times than what the New Zealand's population is. So here is an kind of opportunity. This is when you compare with the external data. Now you would like to make a comparison giving an appropriate context. So what can be the appropriate context? You can compare with the airlines, right? So you find that the same number of customers travel in a year, right? So and there are a lot of kind of a business which are around airline today. For we take the example, Make My Trip, you know, uh, Yari or Yatra, right? So many, I mean, businesses which are there. And if you are able to project this, that is what is just a minuscule of the business. And that minuscule of the business, if they are able to derive that kind of potential, and here we are talking about a very big numbers, and we can project it that these may big numbers can translate into kind of a higher outcomes. So it is not only about the numbers, but how you are going to translate that numbers into outcomes. Outcomes which can be inspiring outcomes. So that's all about inspiring outcomes. Thank you very much. I hope you like my conversations. Thank you once again.